Hey, if you like this video, make sure to follow me on social networks. Also, you can download the audio-only version if you want. Hey guys, Northern Whisper here, otherwise known as Ben Robert French. And it is now my birthday. About 21 years ago, I was born, so I decided to do a Draw My Life. So, here we go. I was born in a country called Norway, and I was born in it's not really a state, it's a province, I guess, a place called Telemark, more specifically Statelle, which is a small town. So, if I draw a rough drawing of Norway, and this is very, very rough. Super, like, I'm just gonna, because it isn't important. Norway is not this shape at all. Point is, it's down here somewhere. It's where I was born, hovering around in that area of Norway. Not quite that much south, but whatever. Again, not important. South. And so I was born in a hospital in Skien, which is a town slightly north of Statelle. And I really like Norway. Anyway, I grew up in a big house which I had 8 bedrooms because I have a family of 14. So you have my dad, who will try and draw. He had glasses, short hair, it's a cool dude, and he was about 1 meter 88. That's about 6'3", I think, somewhere around there. 6 foot, yeah, between 6'2" and 6'3". So he's a relatively big guy. He also had a bit of a stomach. He worked with computers, specifically Macintosh computers. And he was on the computer all the time. And I've drawn him with very large legs. I can't draw, if you didn't know. At least not. I don't know, I'm not really trying to draw either, because I have a lot to draw. ugly. She looks like a little girl. So, I am half Norwegian, half English. Now, I have a lot of family to draw, so let's see. There's my oldest sister, who is pretty tall, but anyway, so let's draw her very simply. Let's give her super long legs. And she is an artist. She paints and draws. She can draw a lot better than this. And then we have my oldest brother. Actually, he's way taller. He's about up here. He's about 6'4". And then we have my other sister. She has a very long name. Kaylee Elizabeth Victoria Marianne something or other French. I don't even know all the names. She's quite bulky. She has lots of kids. But she's really cool. Then we have the one below that is my brother William. Who's way taller. I don't know. Norway's in the way. Darn it, Norway. Always getting in the way. He's about up here. So it's got a stomach. Stubby arms. No. And then we have Daniel, who was born on the same day as William, but 2 years later. So, and he works with films and media generally. He owns a company doing special effects. And then we have my sister Nicole. She was originally called Hannah, but she changed her name to Nicole. Technically, I think she's legally called Hannah Nicole French. I don't know. We call her Nicole, and she is an EA high. Man. And then we have Nicholas. He's a big guy. He has muscles for days. He's pretty huge. Okay, where can we fit in more people? And then we have, let's see, Andrea. So let's draw her down here. She's into anime and lots of stuff that actually kind of looks like her. It's funny how you sometimes just get it right. And then we have me. So let's see. I'm 8 foot tall. Really, really ripped. Of course. I get all the ladies. No. Anyway, so you have me. Below that I have Michael. So he's a shy little boy. Well, he's like 19, but he's little to me. family. I still have Kitty, actually. So, let's see. And then we have Kitty. So, this is my family. That's what that looks like. By the way, these swords and stuff on the side, this is just an old sketchbook from when I was in school. I think this one's one from when I was year 7. So I was 12 years old. Okay, so what I used to do as a kid a lot was one of two things, or three things I suppose. I would either play on my computer a lot. So let's see, how can we do this? This is how old computers used to look. A mouse. We had old Macs back in the day. With the Mac OS 9 and everything, so that was kind of cool. So I would either, we also had PCs, so I would either play on the computer all the time. The games I would play would be stuff like King's Quest, or Monkey Island, or stuff like Transport Tycoon, or Age of Empires. Two, of course. And there's probably other stuff as well. When I was and Dungeon Siege, of course. Dungeon Siege. Those kinds of games. Fallout. I say those kinds of games, but spanning adventure games, strategy games, simulator games, RPGs. I played a lot as a kid. I play all kinds of genres. Another thing I would do is play in the woods and make small huts or bases in the forest. So you'd have layers of trees, outside as well. There would be I don't know what to call it. Basically a house with loads of electrical cables in it and stuff, and a little box of sorts with cables in it as well. I'm not sure what they're called, but anyway, we'd use this as like a target, and then someone would count down, stand here and count down, and everyone else would run and hide. And since everyone knew everyone, we could just go into any garden, whatever. So we would hide in different places, and then the person would go and search, and they didn't have to touch them, they only had to see them, and then they could run back, but they would have to go searching. And so a lot of the time you would have a person walking up and then finding someone, and they would see them, and so both of them would sprint back to try and get one person would try and be safe and the other would try and get him out. I can't remember what that game is called, but we played that a lot. So that was quite fun. And that was basically my life in Norway. And then when I was 11 years old, we moved from the sort of kind of but not really guitar shaped Norway to England. That's just so we would take a plane and then just start playing here. All the way to about here, actually. So we'd get to London and then drive over to Bridgewater. In the UK. And I didn't want to move as a kid. I was not happy at all because I liked Norway, so this was me. But most of my family wanted to move, so because it was decided that most wanted to move, we went. So here I was in Bridgewater, didn't know anyone, and it's worth mentioning at this point that I've had a very religious upbringing. So there was a church where we were in the same organization of church in Bridgewater. So, I guess that's where I'd get most of my friends, or most of the people that I knew. And I still take part in a few things there, and I still am part of this organization, but only kind of sort of. I'm not 100% convinced it's for me, but we'll see. So anyway, there would be people there that I could play with and get along with, but everyone lived in different places. Not that far, but as a kid, even on the other side of town is quite far. And so I never really hung out with anyone. I would just be at home on the computer playing games. So back at home, would just play games. Stuff like, what would I play? Warcraft 3. Battlefield 1942. Stuff like that. I would still play the classics like Fallout these other games over here. So that's what I did as a kid, and that's basically what I still do in my free time and everything. That has been my life for the last few years. I'm a gamer, and I've always been a gamer, and I'll always be a gamer. In 2007, something very unfortunate happened. My dad was in Sidmouth with my mum. They were staying over at my grandmother's house because my dad comes from Sidmouth. So they were like taking time away from the kids, to just have each other's company, so they could relax or whatever. It's a seaside town, so there's loads of nice restaurants and cool stuff like that. But unfortunately, while they were on this trip, my dad suffered from a heart attack and passed away. So, 2007, in August, I lost my dad, which sucked. And I remember when I found out, I broke my phone, which was my very first phone that I'd found in a dumpster. It was a flip phone, and I was holding it at the moment, at the time where I got told, and I just snapped it in half. I wasn't happy. And, the whole family were kind of, I cried a lot. It sucked. So, he was a cool guy. And he died at the age of 52 years old. I remember being sad for a very long time, but I had a friend at the moment, or at that time. He was a little bit goofy, and I remember he just bought his first studded belt. We were like 13, 14, or he was 14, I was 13. this belt on, super happy, and just saying, it fits. And he was, I don't know, at the time I found it really funny, because he'd been struggling, and he said it in a very goofy way. I don't know. But then I remember that cheering me up. So he was a cool dude. Unfortunately, we took different paths in life. He went one way, and I went the other, so we didn't talk anymore. But at the time, he was one of the better friends I had. It was around this time also that I'd been getting into making music on the computer. I would use my dad's MacBook to make music on GarageBand. And so that Christmas I got a couple of presents. I got several presents. We have a large family, but there were two presents in particular that were awesome. One was a big heavy box, and it was Logic Pro 8, or rather it was Logic Studio. And when I got this, I knew immediately that something else was gonna follow, and it did. So I also got my own little computer, my little Mac Mini, which I still have today. And with this, I would make music, and I still do occasionally make some music. And this is how I got into sound and the technical side of everything. And I later went on to do music technology in college. Unfortunately, they had nothing more to teach me, so I just kind of breezed through college and got a perfect grade 2 months early. So yeah, which was pretty cool. Also, around this time was when I was starting to want to make games, so my friends and I would start to draw drawings, which is what those swords and stuff were. So we would draw cool little swords. Let's see if we can show you the kind of style. Draw handles that would, usually way too big. That had massive fat weights on the other side. I can't remember what they're called. And they would always have these little serrated parts. So that was the kind of sword that we would constantly draw as concept art at the time. And I remember the game we were gonna make was called 8 Kingdoms. Now 8 Kingdoms was not led by me, it was led by another guy called Lucas. And Lucas had the whole idea of having 8 different kingdoms in an MMO, and they would constantly be warring against each other on this island, which was kind of cool. But that never happened, of course. We were tiny little teenagers. We didn't have the resources to make any kind of game. When I finished college, I very quickly moved to Norway again because I wanted to go back. So I would move. Drive over to London and fly over. So I lived there for about a year and a half. From when I was 17 to when I was about to turn 19. And I was trying to get a job, but it just never happened. So I was living there basically doing very little. But during this time I was playing a lot of games and I made a lot of cool contacts. And during this time we were trying to start making our first game. So Project Lucid, which is a game I still want to make. Project Lucid was a game about an old man who was about to die and was very unhappy with the way his life had been. And he's all alone. And he gets angry because he remembers his wife was happy when she died, and he thinks it's unfair that she gets to be happy and he is not happy. And in all this anger, he falls over and he bleeds to death. And then you play through his flashes, because you know when you see flashes before you die, or supposedly, you play through those flashes and he gets to re-experience his life and see that some of the things weren't so bad, and that one of the things that were bad were generally his fault. And some things, yeah, they were bad, but that's just how life is. You know, you need to learn not to be a complete and utter dunce. Anyway, so the aim of the game is ultimately to help this man rest in peace. So, but again, we didn't really have the resources or the skills to make a game from scratch, and so that hasn't ever happened. When I moved back to England, I got a job a couple months later at a furniture factory where I would wrap tables and make, drawer fronts and laser boring stuff, and I worked there for about 10 months and then I left. I couldn't do it, just wasn't me. And then I had no job, and so for about 10 months or 9 months I was without work, and I was working on Skywind. Practically full-time, starting off as a voice actor. Moving on to being head of sound quality. And then now doing co-directing. For Skywind. So I have loads of voice actors and will be starting work relatively soon. But it's because of the work I did on Skywind that I got a job under Freedom, which is a YouTube network, or more specifically, MGN. And I work as a director and a game developer, the lead game developer for MGN. And we are currently making Flickflay. Which is a rhythm game. And this has been most of the stuff I've experienced. It's a relatively boring life, but it's a life, and at the moment, I'm pretty happy making games because I'm finally doing what I want to do. And Flickplay will be hopefully releasing within the next couple of months, probably in February or early March. So, I look forward to that. And that has been my life. That's my signature. So, thank you very much if you subscribe to me or you're a fan of me or my work. And I'm pretty close to hitting 1,500 subscribers, so I guess this will be an unofficial or an early 1,500 sub special. So, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you found this interesting or relaxing. Bye bye.